Yeah.
City. Yeah. I can ask Andrea to.
It'll be me, she's supposed to be here, but if she isn't here, I should.
Okay.
Who's coming, Maggie or?
I don't think we would appreciate it.
We want Maggie. Yeah. Seven, you guys room?
Yeah.
We want Maggie. Good evening. Welcome to this meeting of Westminster's Mayor and Common Council. The council meets here in City Hall on the second and fourth Mondays of every month. Please note that council meetings, although open to the public here at City Hall, are also available and streamed live on the city's YouTube page, as well as the Community Media Center channel and website. Now we begin, as we do every meeting, with the pledge to the flag, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. As a courtesy to everyone, please take a moment to silence your cell phones or any other electronic devices you have that might interrupt the meeting. Thank you. Copies of tonight's agenda and the entire information packet that the council will be using are available online on the city's website. Copies of the agenda are available here in front of the room for anybody who might like to pick one up. I have a statement for the record about a recent closed meeting of the council. The closed meeting of Monday, April 28th, 2025, in accordance with the General Provisions Article, Section 3-306C2 of the Annotated Code of Maryland, and without objection, it is noted that the minutes of tonight's meeting reflect that the Common Council met in a closed meeting on Monday, April 28th, 2025, at 8:29 p.m., pursuant to General Provisions Article Section 3-305B1, to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or other officials over whom this public body has jurisdiction, as well as any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals. Motion was made by Mr. Kovaci. The second was made by Mr. Huff. The vote to the closed meeting was unanimous. Mayor Becker was not in attendance for the closed meeting. The following staff members attended: City Administrator Imhoff. The council took no official action during the meeting, and the closed meeting adjourned at 9:20 p.m. Thank you. We have two presentations tonight on calendar, and Mayor, it is a pleasure to have you back to do these, having had to do all that heavy lifting last time.
It's so much.
It is. So thank you very much for being back to do this.
You're welcome. Oh, we're good. You okay? All right, so Major Price, if you wouldn't mind coming up here. Thanks. For some reason I always. Right. So this is a mayoral proclamation for National Police Week 2025. Whereas by a joint resolution approved on October 1st, 1962, Congress designated May 15th of each year as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the calendar week during which May 15th occurs as National Police Week. And whereas there are more than 800,000 sworn law enforcement officers now serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Westminster Police Department. And since the first recorded police death in 1786, over 24,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and have been killed in the line of duty. And the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C. And this year, 345 names will be added to the Law Enforcement Memorial in honor of fallen officers in 2024 and the past. And National Police Week draws approximately 40,000 attendees to join together in various services throughout the week, honoring the men, women, and canines that have died as heroes. And now, therefore, I, Dr. Mona Becker, Mayor of the City of Westminster, in conjunction with the Common Council, do hereby proclaim May 11th through the 17th as National Police Week in the City of Westminster, adopted this 12th day of May, 2025. Mr. Price.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
You're welcome. I'm gonna do a picture here for Abby real quick. Thank you. Is there anything that you'd like to say?
No, we'd just like to thank you for your support and the council's support. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, you always have it. Okay, thank you. All right. Andrea, you're next. So Westminster recently became a bird city just a month or two ago. And this proclamation is in recognition of World Migratory Bird Day, May 10th, 2025. Whereas migratory birds are some of the most beautiful and easily observed wildlife that share our communities. And many communities recognize and welcome migratory songbirds as symbolic harbingers of spring. And these migrant species also play an important economic role in our community, controlling insect pests and generating millions in recreational dollars statewide. And migratory birds and their habitats are declining throughout the Americas, facing a growing number of threats on their migration routes in both their summer and winter homes. And public awareness and concern are crucial components of migratory bird conservation. And since 1993, World Migratory Bird Day, formerly International Migratory Bird Day, has become a primary vehicle for focusing public attention on the nearly 350 species that travel between nesting habits in our community and throughout North America and their wintering grounds in South and Central America, Mexico, the Caribbean, and the Southern United States. And while World Migratory Bird Day is officially held each year on the second Saturday in May, its observance is not limited to a single day, and planners are encouraged to schedule activities on the dates best suited to the presence of both migrants and celebrants. And World Migratory Bird Day is not only a day to foster appreciation for wild birds and to celebrate and support migratory bird conservation, but also a call to action. And now, therefore, I, Dr. Mona Becker, Mayor of the City of Westminster, join the Common Council and city staff members in urging all community members to celebrate this observance and to support efforts to protect and conserve migratory birds and their habitats in our community and the world at large. Adopted this 12th day of May, 2025. Thank you for being here to accept the award. Okay. Is there anything you'd like to say?
No, we are working hard to get all of our information together to officially be the bird city. We've been putting our lots of coordination with different, so we're excited about this.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Very good, thank you, Mayor. Just two other things before we move on to our next item. I want to recognize our new Director of Human Resources for her first council meeting, Ms. Sharice Brown. Thank you for joining us here in the city of Westminster and for coming to the meeting. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, it's a pleasure to be here.
Also, going to take do another introduction. When Dr. Julia Jaskin became president of McDaniel College, one of the things that she did was commit to have a member of the senior leadership team from the college join us as often as possible at council meetings. And she has stuck with that faithfully. And it's been great to have somebody here to share a little news about what's happening up on the Hill with us and to be able to take back to the college leadership what's happening here in the city. So tonight we have Dr. Richard Smith with us. He's the Associate Vice President for Institutional Mission and Belonging, as well as the college chaplain. So Dr. Smith, thank you for coming tonight. Anything you'd like to share with us tonight?
So I'll be brief. Just to let you know, this upcoming Saturday, we'll have our graduate commencement. And then next Sunday is our undergraduate commencement. And then finally, I'm the last person you're gonna see for a little while. So over the summer, not as much to report, so we'll take a break, but we will be back in the fall to be with you.
All right, very good. Well, we will look forward to resuming these fall. Thank you very much. And now we have a public hearing. Public hearings in the city of Westminster are conducted by the mayor, so I'll turn the gavel over to Dr. Becker.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. So I'm going to call the public hearing to order at 7:09 p.m. The mayor and common council of the city of Westminster are conducting this public hearing on the proposed FY 26 budget at the mayor and common council meeting scheduled on Monday, May 12th, 2025 to receive public comment on the city of Westminster's fiscal year 26 budget. The city of Westminster's proposed annual budget FY 26 is scheduled for adoption on Monday, May 12th, 2025. Is there anyone here who would wish to speak? Hearing none, I will close this public hearing at 7:10 PM.
Thanks, Dr. Becker. Nice job.
Was an easy one.
Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. We have minutes of the mayor and common council meeting of April 28th and the closed meeting of the same date. I have a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
A motion by Mr. Dayhoff. Is there a second?
Second.
A second by Ms. Gilbert. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have it and the ayes have it. And the minutes are approved. There is one item on the consent calendar this evening. May I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Motion to approve.
A motion by Mr. Dayhoff. Is there a second?
I will make a second.
Second by Mr. Hoff. All those in favor of approving the consent calendar, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have it and the ayes have it, and the consent calendar is approved. Report from the mayor, Dr. Becker.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's like I'm making up for not being here last week.
It's gonna take a while.
I do have some comments. I'd just like to start by saying the last 2 weeks have been incredibly busy with work on the budget. The budget process in the city of Westminster is an all hands on board event as the budget takes shape for next year. Staff have the opportunity to provide context for the budget and help shape the direction it takes. Special thanks goes to Ms. Teresa Rogers, our finance director, Ms. Krista Gardner, our budget consultant, and city administrator, Ms. Impulse, for providing several finance committee and council work sessions over the last few weeks regarding the budget. I do have some more comments on the budget, but I'm gonna save those for a little bit later in the meeting.
All right.
I'm not done.
That's okay.
I want to
Cut you off.
I want to congratulate local business owner Bernie Vogel, who was recognized by McDaniel College last week with the 2025 Delta of Maryland Lifelong Learner Award. This is given by Phi Beta Kappa. This award is given to individuals or groups who have pursued intellectual inquiry beyond their professional field, demonstrating lifelong learning. Bernie Vogel, of course, is the owner of Jeannie Bird's Bakery on Main Street. Next weekend, the farmers market opens. Please come out next Saturday to enjoy the opening day festivities. There are new events planned for this year, as well as many returning vendors, as well as some new vendors. Outside the budget, it's been quiet except for last Saturday when I enjoyed flower and jazz. I hosted Congressman Johnny Olszewski for a few hours that morning to stroll along Main Street and enjoy lunch and a drink at Covalent before heading back to DC. Council President Pecoraro and Councilmember Hoff joined me as well. These relationships with our federally elected officials are important to maintain, given that we often submit requests to the federal government for funding. And Representative Olszewski, as well as Senators Van Hollen and also Brooks, their help is all valuable. The congressman enjoyed his day immensely. He was impressed at the size of the crowd we draw for events in Westminster, the quality of the vendors, and most importantly, the friendliness of the community. So I wanted to say thank you to all the residents of Westminster who came to Flower and Jazz on Saturday to help celebrate the day. And the weather was perfect. I think we were all happy because it did not rain, as it often does. And then last, I just want to say thank you to the community of Westminster for giving me your support for the last 4 years. As I've served as mayor, I have been incredibly humbled and honored to have fulfilled this role. It's been a pretty amazing 4 years with many projects accomplished and some in the pipeline. Tomorrow is our municipal election, and I would once again ask for your vote for my reelection. Polls are open from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. It's going to be rainy, but I and some volunteers will be at the polls all day long. in the rain. Also running tomorrow are council members Kavachi and Hoff. So tomorrow, when you've got a break and you live in the city, come out in the rain, don't worry about it. Come and vote, stop and say hi at the polling locations. That's all, Mr. President.
Thank you, Dr. Becker. Move on now to committee reports. Begin as we always do with our liaison to the Carroll County Arts Council, Mr. Dayhoff.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a number of exciting events coming up at the Carroll Arts Council. I want to in particular call your attention to the Afternoon with Mary Shellman, and that will take place on Saturday, May 24th. It's one of the events that has been scheduled in commemoration of the nation's 250th anniversary. And many of us are also excited about the free outdoor summer family movies that will be taking place out at the amphitheater at Carroll Community College. They will run on Tuesdays at 8:30 from June the 24th through July the 29th. A lot of really exciting programming coming up. Oh, I want to mention also Art in the Park, which is always one of my favorites. That's Saturday on June the 7th, from 10 to 4 here at the City Hall grounds. But again, a lot of exciting programming at the Carroll Arts Center. Check their website. Their website is very, very good, very informative for all the exciting events coming up. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Dayhoff. Next, we'll go to our Economic and Community Development Committee, Mr. Hoff.
I have nothing to report tonight, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hoff. On behalf of the Finance Committee, let me just say that we'll have some remarks when we get to the budget ordinance later in the meeting. On behalf of the Personnel Committee, I will just say that we are very pleased, as I mentioned earlier, to have a new Director of Human Resources. And now that we have one, we will be having a Personnel Committee at some point, because we got lots to talk about, I'm sure. Public Safety, Mr. Kavachi.
Thank you, Mr. President. This past week, 3 of our newest officers successfully completed their first year and probationary period, earning the rank of Private First Class. Congratulations to PFC Eade, Haynes, and Ramirez. Each of them has had an outstanding first year and continues to perform at an exceptional level. With the recent retirement of Captain Schuster, which you all got a chance to say goodbye to him, and we'll miss him dearly. Chief Ledwell has announced that there is a promotional process for the ranks of Captain, Lieutenant, Sergeant, and Corporal, and it will begin in June. PFC Victoria Ash and PFC Jonathan Ray will be recognized at the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce Public Safety Awards on May 20th for their life-saving actions on November 23rd, 2024, when they rescued an incapacitated citizen from an overturned burning vehicle following a traffic accident. I know we got to hear a little bit about that on the internal award ceremony, but that's wonderful that they're recognized externally. Lastly, I'd like to congratulate the chief and deputy chief who's with us this evening for a job really well done on winning a Governor's Office of Crime Prevention and Crime Control and Prevention grant for $23,810 for the purpose of longevity for some of our younger officers. That's great work. Thank you for the work that you put in to win that. It's wonderful that you won that award. And that is all I have.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Kavachi. Next is Public Works, Ms. Gilbert.
Yes, for Public Works, along with all the normal everyday work that our Public Works departments takes place doing, they also help prepare for the Flower and Jazz Festival and the Wakefield Mother's Day Run, which I'll talk about in a few moments. They prepared and installed all the hanging baskets on Main Street, and now, if you notice and look up as you walk down Main Street, the veteran banners are now all the way down Main and Pennsylvania Avenue. So they are completed also. And that will take me right into the Public Works, Parks and Rec Department Committee report, if that's okay.
Please do.
So on Saturday, May 10th, Westminster hosted 2 remarkable events that united our community. First, the Flower and Jazz Festival returned to Main Street for its 34th year. drawing thousands of attendees to historic downtown Westminster from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Main Street was transformed into a vibrant marketplace featuring over 200 vendors, offering a variety of plants, flowers, shrubs, and handcrafted items and delicious food. The air was filled with the sounds of live jazz performances across multiple stages, including the Josie Malavi Jazz Fusion Band, and I apologize if I butchered that name. The Noah Pierre Band and the Shambugi Band, providing a delightful soundtrack to the day's festivities. Families enjoyed the Safe Kids Zone presented by the Carroll County Health Department, which also offered healthy and educational activities regarding bicycle safety, emergency preparedness, and children's mental health. Additionally, the City of Westminster's booth provided free flowers to all the moms to celebrate Moms' Days. And if that's not enough for our Parks and Rec department on one day, they decided to undertake a new event to add to that event. And that was the inaugural Mother's Day 5K and Mini Mutter. A thrilling event that combined fitness, fun, and family-friendly adventure. A total of 249 participants registered for the event, with 189 individuals tackling the challenging 5K course, which featured 16 obstacles, 7 mud pits. 60 children aged 10 and under participated in the 1 miler, the mini mutter, navigating 7 obstacles and 3 mud pits designed for younger participants. The event fostered a strong sense of community, with the participants of all ages, skill levels coming together to embrace the spirit of adventure, camaraderie, and muddiness. Muddy smiles and laughter were abundant as runners crossed the finish line, many expressing their eagerness for the event to return next year. And I will say that, yes, they all did. Every single person that went past my little station, except 2 little children, were excited and laughing and having fun. Some muddy, some not. But there's only 2 little kids that really, I think, were not happy with their mother for dragging them to the outside of that, it was an absolute, I had a wonderful experience running my station. So thank you. And next year, I think I will try to attempt, maybe I'll go run a few of the mud bits and see those, but I think I'll attempt it. And that's all I have.
All right, very good, thank you. And finally, the Technology Committee, Mr. Dayhoff.
There'll be no report this evening, Mr. President. Thank you.
All right, very good, thank you. Next item is council comments and discussion. All right, this is an opportunity for council members to share any thoughts they have on any items that are not elsewhere on this council agenda for the evening, but not part of the committee report. So I'm going to lead off tonight. I just have a couple of things I'd like to share. First is that congratulations to everyone from the Flower Jazz Festival, Ms. Newberg, her team, Public Works, City Police, everybody who was involved. Wonderful event, as Ms. Gilbert and the mayor both said, and it was just a great day for everybody. I was pleased to get the vote for the city bird in keeping with our proclamation on migratory birds today. I voted for the eastern bluebird because its color was blue, which is the city's colors, and I thought that made the most sense for me. I also just want to note, because I always take a lot of pleasure in this, that not only do we see so many hardworking city staff there, which of course it's their job and they do it cheerfully and they do a great job, but I'm also always so pleased to see other city staff members come out to enjoy the day. And I saw quite a few of them on Saturday. Obviously they've got their own families and lives that they lead, and other things to do. But it's great that they come out and be part of the community. It's nice to see them all there. And so thanks to all of you who were able to join us. I want to say a couple of other words as well. So Westminster is unique in that the council here in Westminster elects its own president to preside over its meetings, unlike other municipalities where the mayor presides over the meetings, or in some cases, the top vote getter if a council election winds up taking on that role. Council presidents in Westminster do a lot more than just chair our meetings. They have significant responsibilities outside the council. They appoint our committees, working with the city administrator, the city attorney, and the city clerk to ensure that the council's directions are clear and that the council's needs are met, and occasionally standing in for the mayor. It's an interesting and important role, but a demanding one as well. For the last 6 years, my colleagues have honored me by allowing me to serve as their president. As I look back, I'm proud to have effectively partnered with 2 mayors to lead the council and the city through the pandemic and its aftermath, the renovation and occupation of our new city administrative building, the selection and transition to a new city administrator, the planning and state approval of our water reuse facility, and an important legacy event that I'm particularly proud of, a very thoughtful approach to developing and approving the Wakefield Park in a community-oriented way, as well as its soon-to-be completed clubhouse, which, is going to be something that's going to long outlast all of us, as well as the day-to-day business of governing the city. In Westminster, the council president is a servant leader. In these 6 years, I've done my best to lead collegially and put the needs of my council colleagues individually and the body as a whole before my own. Unfortunately, recently I find that my professional responsibilities demand more and more of my time, and it's becoming harder to fulfill the responsibilities of council president as I would wish. Accordingly, as we look forward to tomorrow's city election and the organizational meeting of the council that will follow a week after that, I've decided that the time has come for me to step down as council president and allow one of my colleagues to take on that role. Accordingly, I will not be a candidate for council president when the newly elected council organizes next week. I thank you all for the privilege of having served all of you for the last 6 years as your president, and look forward to supporting my successor as you all have supported me. And now I'll move on to Mr. Kavachi for his comments.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, in light of that, that's a hell of a resume that you just read off over 6 years. That's quite a few accomplishments that you presided over. And I've fortunately been able to sit to your right for these past 6 years and watch you do just an awesome job. And you're going to be sorely missed as the council president. But the good news is you're not going anywhere. So
Changing seats.
Great. You're going to move to a different seat, but other than that, we still get to take full advantage of all your 23 years of experience sitting up here at this dais. So the other thing I wanted to make a quick comment on, tomorrow's election day, and I just wanted to make a quick comment about Mayor Becker. Like Council President Pecoraro, I've also sat next to her for 8 years. Or was it, were you on the council?
Well, I was on the, we were council together.
40, that's what I'm saying, 4 years on the council,
4 years,
4 years
as
mayor, right?
Yep.
And we've been very fortunate to have her as mayor. I certainly hope she will continue to be mayor when we reconvene next Monday, but that's up to the voters. And I just wanted to say that she has been phenomenal to work with as well. Got a couple of fantastic leaders to my left. So that is it, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Kavachi. Mr. Nahas.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm also very excited about the upcoming farmers market opening this Saturday on May 17th. We've worked really hard on that market, and I think it brings a lot of folks to Westminster, and I think it does a really, really good job. I'm also looking forward to the May 20th, 2025 Chamber Public Safety Awards. I'm happy that my colleagues are going to be honored for their work. Great work on the part of Rec and Parks and the police and the Public Works folks when the 34th Flower and Jazz Festival and the Motors Run. I was greatly amused to get pictures of several of my friends that were full of mud from head to toe. And I have somewhat fond memories of doing that when I was in the Marine Corps, I guess under different circumstances. I also want to congratulate Bernie Vogel for his lifelong learning award. It's really great that the college has recognized him. He does a lot of great stuff for our community, and we really appreciate that he was recognized for that. I've worked with a lot of council presidents over the years, and it's been a pleasure to work with you, Mr. Pecoraro. I mean, we go back a long time. We go back to when we were bringing forward the environmental ordinances forward back in, as far back as the late 80s, I think it is. So it's been a pleasure and an honor to work with you. You've really made quite a difference. It's quite a legacy for the city of Westminster, and we really appreciate it. And that goes into tomorrow's election. I'm really looking forward to working 4 more years with Councilmember Dan Huff and Tony Cavacci, and I'm really looking forward to working with the mayor. I think she's done a phenomenal job for our community, and I think everyone deserves another 4 years. I think it's just a great group, and I'm really excited at the idea of us working together and continuing to bring progress to the community. And that'll be my remarks, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dayhoff. Ms. Gilbert.
I just want to encourage everyone to come out and vote tomorrow. The voting polls are open from 7 a.m. 7 to 8, 7 to 8, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. either at the community pool or at the fire department. And I also want to thank our council president for his dedication as our council president for the past 6 years, which is my entire time on council. So thank you very much. And I look forward to the next 2 years until the next election is up in 2 more years.
Right. Yep. Right. Thank you, Ms. Gilbert. Mr. Huff.
Yes, Mr. President. First off, I greatly appreciate your service these past 4 years. Whoever fills your role, I think they'll have a lot to learn as far as running a really good meeting, because you run a phenomenal meeting. I really appreciate having the opportunity to learn a lot of things from you over these past 4 years. And again, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's election. And I'm excited for all 3 of us to return. I know the mayor will be out at the polls, and I'll be out there running around as well. And you can look for her shirt, and you can look for my shirt, and be glad to talk to anybody who might come up to us. So make sure you come out and vote. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Huff. Next item on the agenda is ordinances and resolutions. We have 3 items in this category. The first is introduction of annexation resolution number 25-06, annexation 87, 1012 BWMD LLC petition for annexation to enlarging the corporate boundaries of the city of Westminster by annexing into the city certain property containing plus or minus 1.2 acres contiguous and adjoining to the city's existing corporate boundaries, consisting of real property located at 1012 Baltimore Boulevard, Westminster, Maryland, 21157, also identified as tax account number 07-029-748, map 0046, grid 0016, parcel 0616. Mr. Depot is not with us tonight. So Ms. Gerhardt, would you like to tell
Sure.
us what this is all about?
Yeah, good evening. So 1012 BWMD LLC, who is the petitioner, is requesting that the mayor and common council annex approximately 1.2 acres, which is located at 1012 Salisbury Boulevard, into the corporate limits of the city of Westminster. The annexation area is zone C2, which is commercial medium intensity district under Carroll County zoning. The petitioners are requesting that the property be zoned B business under the city zoning ordinance. Development in the B business zone and the C2 commercial medium intensity district are very similar and therefore need no zoning waiver from Carroll County commissioners. The petitioner is proposing to open an adult daycare facility, which a daycare facility as well as adult daycare, both are permitted under both the C2 medium intensity district as well as the B business zone. The property is located outside of the city, but is located in our water and sewer service areas. So it is required to take a look at for annexation. It is contiguous to the city, but the property is on an on-site well, which the Carroll County Health Department has allowed for the use of this purpose. It does say that there is enough permitted yield for the well so that it is allowed to be used for this use. However, it does need additional sewer capacity, which is why the property is coming into the city. The annexation petition was submitted and meets all of the state requirements. It has been signed by the owners of 100% of the assessed valuation of the real property in the annexation area. No one resides in the property. It was previously a real estate office. The property is contiguous to and is joined to the existing boundaries of the city. The annexation of the property will not create an enclave, and therefore staff recommends that the mayor and common council introduce resolution number 2506 for annexation number 87 to allow the annexation process to officially begin. And I'm here if you have any questions.
All right, thanks very much. May we have a motion for introduction of annexation resolution number 25-06?
Mr. President, I'll make such a motion.
The motion by Mr. Hoff, is there a second?
Second.
And a second by Ms. Gilbert. Any discussion or any questions for the planning department, Mr. President, Mr. Latcher?
Ms. Garrett, you might not know how to answer this, but St. Paul's, you might. How do we meter sewer only? Is that something meterable? I'm not sure that's actually a word. It's a great word. So how do we know what their usage is?
So to my understanding, they are going to be able to put a meter on the well to be able to see how much usage that the well is doing, and it's automatically assumed that the amount of water that they're using is the amount of sewage that they're using.
So all of their sewer will go into our system. They're not going to continue to use the septic field or whatever is there currently. Because they're not connected to our sewer currently, correct?
Correct, yeah, so
Okay.
they are going to be required, everything will be
So
required.
they'll cut their system out and go singularly on our system. Well, then, yeah, sure, metering the water just like we do for everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kavachi. Would anyone else like to ask anything, or does anybody have a comment? All right, hearing none, move on to a vote. And this is for introduction tonight. All those in favor of introduction of annexation resolution number 25-06, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have, the ayes have it. And the annexation resolution is properly introduced, and we'll go now to the planning commission, I believe, and they'll report back to us later. Thank you. Next item, we've adopted an ordinance 2025-05, an ordinance of the mayor and common council of Westminster, Maryland, approving and adopting a budget for the city of Westminster for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025, and ending June 30th, 2026, also known as fiscal year 26. And establishing various city tax rates for fiscal year 26. Let's go ahead and get a motion on this, and then we can go on to various
I'll
comments.
move to approve, Mr. President.
There's a motion to adopt ordinance number 2025-05. Is there a second?
I'll second.
The second by Mr. Hoff. Thank you. All right, so let's start with the mayor. Mayor Becker, anything you'd like to add on this?
I have a few comments I'd like to say before we start some discussion, so thank you, Council President. So it gives me great pleasure to present the fiscal year 26 budget for approval. The budget represents a great deal of fiscal responsibility on the part of the city. It is a balanced budget showing moderate increases in both revenue and spending to meet the city's needs in both the short term and the long term to ensure success in the future. A few highlights included in the budget are raises for the staff, continuation of work at Wakefield Valley, ongoing inflow and infiltration projects, continuation of holiday lights, downtown infrastructure projects, and what I'm very excited for is funding for Pure Water Westminster, our water recycling facility. I'd like to add that all this has been accomplished without raising taxes on the residents of Westminster. This is the 13th year in the city of Westminster in which taxes have not been raised. And I want to say thank you to the council for their careful consideration of the budget when we had those 2 long work sessions within this past week. And again, thank you to Ms. Impulse for leading the charge on the budget, as well as Mrs. Rogers and all of the staff involved. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to add my thanks, first of all, to you and Mr. Kavachi as the members of the Finance Committee, on behalf, as Chair of the Finance Committee. I think that, our stewardship as a group, the mayor and council, over the last, not just this past year, but the last several years, is critical in allowing us to maintain the kind of fiscal discipline we've had that allows us to take, relatively, as you said, Mayor, a modest increase in revenues due to rising property values, and allow us to continue to have the same tax rate for the citizens of Westminster. And in doing so, continue to provide the services at the same level that we have done in the past, which our citizens want and deserve. And I think that's very important. That's what we strive to do. So thanks to everybody who was participating in that. Ms. Imhoff, Ms. Rogers, Ms. Gardner, yes, our outside consulting CFO, and the rest of the city staff. I know the department heads also worked very hard to present thoughtful budget requests that allow them to do the work that's important to them while maintaining that fiscal discipline we talked about. And also, I just want to add a word of thanks, in particular to Ms. Imhoff, for her diligent work, as well as the rest of the staff, in seeking out federal and state grants that allow us to stretch city resources even further, so that we're able to accomplish some really important things here in the city, and really things we're very proud of, some of the things we were talking about tonight. So with that, we'll go to Ms. Rogers, and she can give us a little more detailed explanation of what we know. Ms. Rogers, thank you again for all the good work.
Thank you, President Pecoraro. All right, you have before you ordinance 2025-05. This is very similar to what you saw when it was introduced several weeks ago. Those changes that have been incorporated that are notated in here, I believe in bold, are changes that were discussed with the mayor and council at our last couple of work sessions. So they were all discussed, nothing new there. Just want to thank you for the time and energy that you put into this very thoughtful budget to move everything forward and to continue on the path of the strategic plan that we have in place. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you would have about the budget.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rogers. Before we have any further discussion, as Ms. Rogers noted, that we have refined the budget based on the comments that were received at the work session. So it's a slightly different document than was originally presented. And so without objection, I ask that the revised ordinance be substituted for the one originally introduced as an amendment in the form of a substitute. Is there any objection? There are none. It is so ordered. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President.
Mr. Hoff.
I just want to compliment yourself and Mayor Becker and Councilman Kavachi as the Finance Committee, having served on that committee the first 2 years of my term. I well know the amount of time and effort and thought and debate that goes into the budget via the Finance Committee. So I really appreciate your efforts in this regard. It's nice to sit back on a year like this and not have to obsess about the budget as much as maybe I did the first 2 years. And then I also very much appreciate all the effort that staff has put into this, because we have really demonstrated, at least in my time of being here, and understanding our financial situation, our reserves and such. We are very fiscally responsible. And as you have already touched on, I think we do a really good job of leveraging our relationships throughout the state, and even on the federal level, to bring additional funding in to the city of Westminster that really allows us to kind of punch above our weight. I just really thank everybody's efforts in that regard, because it's really a lot of work that's going on multiple levels, both among us as a council, but also on a staff level, and otherwise. So I really appreciate everybody's hard work. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Hoff. Anyone else wish to be heard?
Mr. President,
Mr. Kavachi.
say briefly, doing a lot of good stuff, not raising taxes. About that.
Darn right.
Very good.
Amen.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kavachi. All right, hearing no further discussion, we'll move on to a vote. All those in favor of adoption of ordinance 2025-05, the budget of the city for the coming fiscal year, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have it, and the ayes have it. And the ordinance is adopted, and we have a budget for next year. So that's good. We're doing better than Congress does.
Not very high bar.
Sadly, it is not.
No continuing resolution.
No.
Next item is introduction of ordinance 2025-07, fiscal year 25, budget amendment number 1. An ordinance of the mayor and common council of Westminster, Maryland, amending the adopted budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025. Ms. Rogers.
Thank you. The city's fiscal year commenced on July first of 2024. In accordance with section 20-2 of the Code of the City of Westminster, the city administrator prepared a budget for the mayor to present to the common council for consideration. Ordinance 2024-04, approving a budget for fiscal year 2025, was adopted on May 28th of 2024. During this current fiscal year, the city has incurred additional expenses that exceed the current appropriation, and therefore additional appropriations are necessary. A summary of the proposed additions is included, and the funding sources summarized as follows. $217,275.70 using new intergovernmental funds or grants. $2,807,490.89 using general fund reserves. $892,259.68 using sewer fund reserves. $73,812.60 using sewer benefit assessments, and $383,835.80 using water fund reserves, for total additional appropriations needed of $4,374,674.73. As the memo states, with the ordinance, there is a summary of all of that activity that additional appropriations are needed for. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those. At this time, staff is recommending that the mayor and common council introduce the amended budget appropriations as detailed in the ordinance number 2025-07.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers. A reminder, this is for introduction. May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 2025-07?
Mr. President, I will make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Hoff. There's a motion to introduce. Is there a second?
Second.
A second by Ms. Gilbert. So move on to discussion. Let me just ask before we get into any questions or comments. This is a practice we began when Ms. Imholz joined us, and I want to thank her for suggesting this. We used to kind of do this in a more piecemeal, haphazard way. We have begun gathering these into a more formal budget amendment, which I think makes a lot more sense for us. And so I'm glad that we've been going down that path the last couple of years. These are all items which we have approved in various votes at a number of meetings along the way, and all items for which we have identified fund sources to make sure that we were able to do these things. So with that, is there any further questions or any discussion on this?
Mr. President.
Mr. Hoff.
I just want to state my appreciation to Ms. Rogers for I'm assuming you're the one who prepared the very detailed spreadsheet, and it's very helpful, and I appreciate all the detail because I can go through it and it refreshes my memory. Oh, I remember that. So I really appreciate the detailed spreadsheet as part of the budget amendment. It's very, very helpful. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Hoff. Anyone else? Hearing no further discussion, move on to vote. A reminder, this is for introduction tonight. All those in favor of the introduction of ordinance 2025-07, budget amendment number 1 for fiscal 25, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes seem to have it, and the ayes have it. And the ordinance is introduced and will come back to us at the next regular meeting. There is no unfinished business of which I'm aware. We have one item of new business, and for that, I will turn to the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. As my colleagues know, we recently conducted interviews for a new city attorney. I want to say thank you to all my colleagues on the Common Council for their participation in the process. And I am pleased to present Mr. Ramsey and Whitworth of Silverman Thompson for approval as Westminster City Attorney.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. There's been we all participated in this conversation. The mayor has put the name of Mr. Ramsey Whitworth before us and from Silverman Thompson. I have a motion to approve the mayor's appointment.
Motion to approve.
Then a motion by Mr. Dayhoff. Is there a second?
Second.
A second by Mr. Kavachi. Any discussion? Hearing none. Oh, sorry,
President,
Mr. Kavachi, yes.
One quick thing.
Yes.
I think we'd be remiss not to thank Ms. Ruff for their service over the past 14 years. Ms. Levin primarily is point, but you've certainly played a significant role in the relationship as well. And we're very grateful for all the hard work you guys put into the 14 years here and keeping us out of trouble, which probably wasn't always easy to do given some of us. So thank you for that, and I thank you for all the hard work. I know our relationship is going to continue. You're still going to do work with the city and in some other capacities, so we're excited about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gavachi. Just wanted, I was going to add that we're pleased that we continue our relationship with the firm and with Ms. Ruff and Ms. Board in particular, helping us as we properly separate some of those items for those boards away from our main representation. So that's probably a smarter thing for us to be doing, and we appreciate the opportunity we'll have to continue. Thank you. And again, thank you all, and Ms. Levin, for all the great work you've done for us over many years. I was here when you all were, originally hired, as our city attorney, and it's been, it's been a great relationship. Thank you very much. Any further discussion or comments? Hearing none, move on to a vote. All those in favor of appointing Mr. Ramsey Whitworth as the city attorney, please say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. I seem to have the ayes have it. The appointment is approved. Thank you. Now we'll move on to Ms. Imholz to lead us through departmental reports.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to start off today by talking about our MVP of the week, which is our city clerk, Doug Barber. Yes, applause are definitely in order. Doug has really gone above and beyond for the residents, the voting residents of the city of Westminster. He has made sure that he has not taken off at any time during which a resident could submit an absentee ballot or register to vote, which of course doesn't happen here, but happens at the county. He has not taken off a single day, even though he needed one, he deserved one, he had time for one, because he wanted to make sure that this election went as smoothly as possible. He will be here tomorrow along with other city staff working this event, which we consider an event, at 4:30 tomorrow morning. Even though he's here tonight with the council meeting with you all and putting together a packet for the council meeting shortly after putting together the budget ordinances. So it's been a very, very heavy lift for the past 6 weeks, heavier for the past couple of weeks. And we certainly are, Doug brings a lot of value to our organization, and that election tomorrow is going to go off without a hitch solely because of his efforts. So thank you, Mr. Barber. Okay, speaking of staff who show up at 4:30 in the morning, we had a couple of events on Saturday for the Recreation Department and the Public Works Department. I'm actually going to start with Public Works for just a moment and thank them for getting up bright and early and working a very, very long day for multiple events on the same day. So thank them. I'd like to thank the staff for that. I also want to bring to your attention something that our garbage and recycling contractor has brought to my attention, which is that some of the residents in town who use garbage and recycling are putting their trash in the recycling bin. So we need to be more diligent about what's in the recycling bin. And we're not totally sure why that's happening, but I think some decades ago, we were much more stringent about what we put in recycling bins. And now I think we all think to ourselves, it's cardboard, it's plastic, it can go in the bins. That's absolutely not true. If it's a pizza box, it can't go in the bin. If it's a clamshell that you got from your takeout menu, it can't go in the bin, and on and on and on. So the residents can expect to receive notification from the garbage and recycling company through the mail. Everyone's going to get something that says, hey, just a reminder, this is what belongs in the recycling bins. And those who are putting garbage or into their recycling bins will also get a little reminder in their bin about what they're not supposed to be doing. And if that behavior isn't corrected, their recycling may not get collected. So we want to make sure that the residents are paying attention to recycling. Are there any questions about that before we move on?
Ms. Imholz.
Sir.
So I had no idea you couldn't put one of those plastic clamshells in recycling. And there's probably other things that I put in there that assuming that they are recyclable. And I suspect that the vast majority of people doing that are not doing it nefariously. They're doing it thinking they're doing a good thing, but just not being clear on what can and can't be recycled. So maybe it behooves us to, and maybe our contractor will help, do whatever needs to be done. I don't know if we do it in our newsletter or in the water bills as a separate little buck slip or something, but maybe a quick reminder of what is and isn't appropriate to go into the recycling bin, because clearly I'm not even clear on it, because I know I put those clamshells you're talking about in there. So I suspect that's probably more the case. Look, if somebody's gonna take the time to separate their stuff out, they're not doing it because they're lazy, it's extra work. It'd be easier just to throw all the stuff in the trash can. So I suspect the vast majority of people are doing it out of ignorance, as am I.
The garbage and recycling company is going to mail something to all of you that indicates what can and what cannot go on there. There's also an app that you could participate in if you want to. It's unrelated to that company, but it's sort of, can this go in or not? You can scan the back of your thing and the app will tell you that. That's all gonna be on that piece of paper that's gonna get sent. And if you are one of the ones that's gonna get sent to everyone, just generally get the information out. If you're one of the ones that are putting the wrong thing in the recycling bin, you may also get an extra one in your bin to remind you of what to do, what not to do. And then if that continues to be an issue, your bin may not get collected. So we anticipate getting calls about that, as we always do if things don't get collected, but we think the behavior will change because of that. And then, of course, the reason this is happening is because the landfill is cracking down on garbage being sent to the recycling landfill. So the company is being charged a fee. In some cases, they're not allowed to collect it. They're actually, the employees at the landfill are sifting through looking for problems. So we need to crack down on our side. Any other questions on that item before we move on? Okay, our second team that was up at 4:30 in the morning for Saturday's events are the Recreation and Parks Department. Ms. Gruber?
Good evening. Thank you so much. We are now fully focused on all of the cleaning and preparation ahead of us for our pool opening coming up on May 24th. So staff has been working hard up there to make sure that everything sparkles and shines for opening day. We've also onboarded many of our lifeguards and assistant managers and managers at this point. So we will be holding orientation and training sessions for them. Not only to orient them to the facility itself, but just to the summer staff and some of the policies and procedures that are important to their success as a City of Westminster Recreation and Parks Department staff member. One short week after that, we will host our Pickle in the Park pickleball tournament on May 31st and June 1st. 2 weeks after that, Westminster will host its beer and barbecue stroll. And 2 days after the beer and barbecue stroll, we will welcome all of our summer campers. So we have quite an aggressive cadence of events coming our way, but we are well prepared to handle all of them, and we are eager to get the summer started. Thank you for your continued support.
Thank you, Ms. Gruber. Are there any questions?
I do. Ms. Gruber, can you remind me, the community pool is only open on weekends until the schools are out, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir?
Are we trying to do some renovations at the moment? How are they coming?
We're in the process of locker room renovations, and they are on schedule.
Okay. Thank you. That was an important infrastructure improvement. Thank you, Ms. Emmons.
Welcome. Any other questions for the Recreation and Parks Department? Hearing none, we will move on to the Human Resources Department. I'm very excited to welcome tonight Ms. Sharice Brown to her first meeting, and we are so excited to have you here tonight. Ms. Brown?
Good evening. First, I want to say thank you to the mayor and the council for the warm welcome and just the pleasure that it is to serve as the Director of Human Resources for the city. I also want to thank the director team for the welcome that they have given me and bringing me on board and ensuring support to help me be successful in this role. The only thing that I have to report out is that we are fastly approaching our FY 26 benefit open enrollment for all employees. Employees will be reminded about that upcoming event that will be happening, kicking off on May 19th. And we're excited to support staff as they review their elections and any changes that they might want to make. So thank you.
Mayor and Council, we will have that wrapped up before the next council meeting. So for those of you who utilize the health insurance, just don't forget that the forms that will get sent out must be submitted, even if you don't want to make a change to what you currently have.
Thank you, Ms. Emma.
All right, if there are no further questions, we'll move on to the IT department. Mr. Morris.
Yeah, we're coming off our busiest month ever since we started keeping track of tickets. It's been very busy in IT, supporting the back end things and doing some fun back end projects, just going through what we have. But other than that, I don't have a report.
That's a very humble version of his participation. The last 2 weeks,
Come to expect it, right?
we are learning more and more that we can't do a single thing without the IT department. So we're so grateful for all that you do. Thank you. All right, hearing no questions, let's move on to the housing department. Mr. Brown.
Thank you. Good evening. Just want to remind everyone here, as well as people who may be tuning in, that rental housing licenses expires on June 30th. They get a grace period until July 31st. After July 31st, then we start charging each month that the license is late. So to assist in that, we will start mailing out reminder notices to everyone that has a license that they need to renew. So that will go out this week. The first wave will go Wednesday and Thursday, up until Friday. It may take us until Friday to get everything through, but before this week out, it will all be out. They will get a second reminder in mid-June that this is your last chance, get it done after July 31st, then you will be charged a late fee. So just wanted to remind you, and if you have friends and relatives who may be landlords and have a rental license, then that they'll need to get that done by July 31st. So, but we have at this point, we have about 3,300 individual licenses. So, but that's some landlords have multiple properties, and then you have several properties that have 100 or more. So that's that it seems like a lot, and it actually is, but the 3,300 is just not just one individual, but there's some large things in there as well. So we'll do our best to assist anybody that may have some challenges connecting with us or connecting through the system. So we'll try to work with them to make sure that it's as smooth as it possibly can be. We do know occasionally that they run into some problems, and we do what we can to try to work through that. So, but just a reminder, it'll be there. We'll also reach out to the Landlord Association just so that they can spread the word as well. So I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have, but that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. The reminders, those go out through the postal service?
They will be emailed to everyone that we have an email address. It will also go in the regular mail to whatever address we have on record.
Thank you. Mr. Brown, so as part of the licensing agreement, do landlords agree? Because it's been many years since I've looked at it, so I apologize. Do they agree to abide by, other city regulations and ordinances as part of all that?
Yes.
All right, so, because I keep seeing all these inappropriate rental signs all over town. And it's really, I mean, people have complained to me about it. It's, you know, is there something we can do about that? Remind these folks that they can't be putting up these, for rent signs, on all these properties.
You're referring to the permanent.
Yeah, exactly. There's permanent signs.
Not-
There's permanent signs. And not for, no, there's permanent signs. So it looks like half the city's up for rent. It just looks terrible. And, they think they shouldn't have those up. It's against the code. And, I think we need to do something about it because for too long, people have been lax about following the rules. And I think we need to get on these folks and tell them, look, if you're signing this, part of signing this agreement is you can't have those signs up.
We'll follow up on that. We have had some that we've had to remind that on that. In some cases, the planning department also works with us on this issue as well, so that we'll continue to be diligent about that.
I mean, it's taken a while. People aren't getting the message. If we have to find them, I think we ought to do that. Because, people just totally disregarded the rules. All right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Good, Mr. Brown.
Yes.
I'm in total agreement with the president. These permanent signs being up is just, I have units myself. If I have a vacancy, I put up a sign, and when I fill the vacancy, the sign is gone. This idea of like permanently having up these signs is I don't like it. And I think we need to take action in regard to that. Also, Mr. Brown, I just want to clarify, when you say 3,300, so if I have a 4-unit apartment building, that's 4 of that 3,300, right?
That's correct.
It's the number of units.
Right.
I'm kind of curious, over time, has that number continued to go up, or is it about the same, or has it gone down over the past 4 years?
It's been relatively stable. We see some fluctuations, and some of this is due to us discovering people who were supposed to have a rental license but did not. So that gets added to it. But for the most part, it's been pretty stable.
It's been pretty stable.
It's been pretty stable.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious because that could be an indication of, because sometimes rental units can disappear off the market too, depending on what's going on, or more can go on. So it's just kind of, the one nice thing, having rental licensing, and if you're actually, making sure everybody gets it that's supposed to get it, it gives you a real good sense of what's going on in the market. So that's I was kind of curious about.
Yes, and we see units changing hands. Some of them just small, just one unit, couple of units, and then every once in a while we see some of the larger units changing hands. But we try to keep an eye on that. Make sure that we do our due diligence in terms of making sure that they live up to their responsibility and conform to what the code requires.
Thank you, sir.
My turn. Let's move on to the planning department then. Mr. Depot's out today, but we have Ms. Gerhard with us.
Yes, so I know that Mark updated you about the Board of Zoning Appeals case that was supposed to take place in May. That's been continued to the June meeting, so we will hear from that then. The Historic District Commission meeting on May 7th, the commission conducted their annual elections and then also continued their conversations about the 250th nation's anniversary. Planning Commission is scheduled for May 15th. We actually have 2 old business items that are coming back before the Planning Commission, 2 different work sessions. One is a zonal map amendment, which is for the properties out near on Sullivan Road, which is the 22/2s for a total of 40 dwelling units, also known as the Willows. So it's coming back with some ideas for architecture and to get the Planning Commission's thoughts about what they think about that. The other one is Wakefield Valley Development Plan Amendment. The commission has seen it before. This is for parcel W and parcel X. So the applicant is requesting to amend Wakefield Valley Development Plan, which was from 2023. And they are going to be bringing in it's now a 35 unit new development And with parcel X going to be dedicated to Carroll Lutheran Village for open space. So they're bringing it forward as a conversation to see what the planning commission's thoughts are. That's just a step in the process for how a development plan moves forward. But all of this things that the planning commission has already seen before, and so these are resubmissions. So that's what we're planning on doing. We're also really excited for the farmers market to be opening this weekend.
Thank you, Ms. Gerhard. Are there any questions for the planning department?
Mr. Moss. While we have you here, I wanted to congratulate you on your efforts in the nonprofit world. I get to see a little bit of what you do with your BEAR organization, and it's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
And I can tell you, as a member of the city group, it makes me very proud to see that, the effort and time you put into it. It's really cool.
Thank you so much.
So just wanted to congratulate you on your success and growth.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for the planning department? Okay, we're gonna move on to the finance department, but first I have to give a few kudos here. It is astounding that we were able to have a budget meeting on a Wednesday and then the packet get out to the council on a Thursday and to the public on a Friday. That just is unheard of. And it happened because of the dedication and expertise that Ms. Rogers brings to the table, and also the rest of the staff that stayed around to help get that together. If we didn't have that and we needed a week to prepare, which we would have otherwise, we would have had to have more condensed council meetings back to back to back in order to give staff proper time to make those adjustments in the meeting. So I just want to take an opportunity to thank Ms. Rogers. She has been working around the clock, and I think that the outcome shows. So thank you. It's your turn, Ms. Rogers.
Thank you, Ms. Moss. Good evening again. Thank you again, Mayor and Council, for adopting the 26th budget. And with that, we take a big breath. And now the Finance Department moves on to fiscal year end close already. So we are planning our entrance meeting with our auditors next week to begin preparing for our upcoming audit. Last year, our preliminary audit, where they come out and they test what they can before we finish closing everything, took place the 3rd of July. So I'm anticipating that we'll get that scheduled when we talk next week. So that's what we're setting our sights on, preparing for the audit and for our fiscal year end close. That's our next big project.
Are there any questions for Ms. Rogers? Okay. Chief Ledwell is on some much needed time off, and so we are so pleased to have the major with us tonight. And I want to thank you and your team for the efforts that you put in this weekend. We had a lot of police presence at a variety of events going on Saturday, speaking to the public and making sure that we were all staying safe. I want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you, Mr. Halls, and good evening again, and it's a pleasure to be here. Chief is on a well-deserved rest, so I'm glad that he got to do that. I don't have much. I just got 2 things to note. WPD is going to be holding a hiring event on May 17th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. The neat thing about this is we actually have 39 applicants that are invited. So we've definitely seen a uptick in applications coming into WPD when other agencies have. So that's a great thing. So we're very happy about that. The second thing is Universal Utilities has begun the preliminary work on the installation of the new emergency generator at police headquarters. They're out there today, starting to cut some concrete and get that going. We expect the project to take approximately 3 to 4 months, but I know that's been a project that's been in the hopper for several years, but it is underway. So we're excited about that. And thank you all for your support.
Are there any questions for Major Price? Our final item, Mr. President, is the staff would like to wish all of the candidates good luck, and we'll be excited and willing to work with all of the winners. That concludes the departmental reports.
Thank you, Ms. Halls, and thanks to all the department heads that are here this evening for those reports. The final item on our agenda is citizens' comments. This is the opportunity for the public to address the mayor and council on any issues that pertain to tonight's agenda or any other city issues. For citizens not attending the meeting here in person, we invite you to send us your comments via email at comments@westminstermd.gov. All comments received by email will be shared with the mayor and council. We do ask commenters email us to include their address and phone number with their comments. I'll invite comments from anyone who's present this evening. I don't think anybody for the public, other than folks who've already spoken to us, are here. Dr. Smith, anything you'd like to add? Very good. Nice. Not to put you on the spot. Thank you all then. We'll close citizen comments. Thanks to all of you who joined us this evening. That concludes our agenda and the meeting. The mayor and council will have their organizational meeting on Monday, May 19th, at which time the newly elected mayor and council members will be sworn in and the council will select its officers. And with that, without objection, we are adjourned.
Thank you.